Hey guys, welcome back to Alice Customs Project Car TV. Today we are doing an update on the International Scout, and I'm here with John Moeller of AllSickKustoms, allsickcustoms.com. John and I are kind of becoming quick friends here. He contacted me thanks to Robert Kibbe and themusclecarplace. Contacted me and wanted to know, hey, how did you set up your business? How are you doing this in Bloomfield, New Mexico? Because we don't have that many people here. And we went and had lunch. We decided we needed to do a little work together, hence the Scout being in his shop and not mine. And John, welcome to AllSickKustoms.
Nice to be here. Glad to get started. I did have a bunch of questions. I still got a bunch of questions. I'm glad you're trusting me with your baby here and letting me get some work on it. Look forward to all the joint ventures, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. So what it is John has just retired from local public service.
Yeah.
And decided he needed to go back to work. So he picked a body shop locally, went to work for them for a few weeks and said, okay, I remember how to do what I knew how to do as a kid, but I don't want to do it for somebody else. I want to do it strictly for myself. And really, I got him on paint, but he really wants to be a full fabrication shop.
Yep.
And so we're going to sit down and do an interview with John, and he's going to tell us what he's got planned for the Scout, and then he's going to kind of tell us a little bit about himself and where he's from and how he decided he wanted to be into cars. So we'll get on to that.
Perfect.
All right, John, so we're going to steal the Robert Kibbe method of interview.
Perfect.
And so tell us who you are, where you're from, why you're into hot rods. What was your first one?
Oh, first car. So, John Moeller from Bloomfield, New Mexico, born and raised. First car. So when I was a kid, about 12, 13 years old, I started saving every dollar I made pulling weeds for the neighbors and everything I could, and bought a 66 Mustang. I still got it across the street, actually. Yeah.
Wow.
I never finished rebuilding it. That's one of those 20-year plans, and I've had it for almost 30 now.
So it's any day now.
Any day now.
Okay.
It's close.
All right. So 66 Mustang. And have you ever driven it?
So it had a straight 6 in it, and it was all primer, missing a fender and a front end when I bought it. And this was a dirt road here in front of my house. I ran it up and down that dirt road at 14 a couple of times until the hood popped open and wrapped around the windshield and scared me half to death.
So you haven't driven it since you were 14, and is it got the same hood, or did you get a new hood?
I do have the same hood.
All right. This is a long-term project.
Long-term. I ended up giving it to my oldest daughter when she turned 16 a few years ago. So
has she ever gotten to drive it?
She has never driven it. we got the engine started. I put a V8 in it. It was a straight 6.
Okay.
She was able to start it one day, and we haven't been back over there to mess with it since.
Oh my goodness.
Life gets in the way, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. But now you're retired, so
hopefully
you'll have all the time in the world.
She's already telling me, when are we going to work on that now? So.
Okay. Yeah, she's looking around at the projects piling up in your shop already, and you're like, I just went into business a week ago, and I already have my shop full.
Already. That's a good problem to have.
Yes, there you go. So, so what made you wanted to get into fabrication and hot rodding and then open your own shop?
So back then, my dream was to have my own shop of some kind. Okay. I got my first tool set around that same time for Christmas. That's what I was, asking my parents for Christmas. Popular Mechanics tool set, and I still have some of those tools actually. So I did that for a while, all kinds of odd jobs and trying everything out. I went through the high school program. They send you over to the college body shop for all afternoon. I did that for junior and senior years. Learned some of the basics, and then I went to junkyard jobs, mechanic jobs, a couple of body shops.
Yeah, you said you worked for a body shop and you learned some basics, and now that guy runs a shop. And
did lots of it, and then when you go into public service, it was a calling after 9/11. Go do public service best I can, but public service doesn't pay good when you're first starting, especially. So everybody had side jobs. So I'd paint cars on the side and help people out and do some stuff. Always watched the TV shows. Back 20 years ago, Foose was on every channel. But it didn't show all the details. I mean, he did some fancy, awesome work. But here recently, as I was retiring right after COVID, everybody was inside watching TV, right?
Right.
I was watching Kindig and the stuff that they're doing, And I'm like, I always wanted to do just that, but it shows more detail of the fabrication
Right, yeah.
side.
Of the shows that
all
were
of
on
it.
TV, that's been one of my favorite because of the detail they show.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that just got me revved back up that, yeah, I need to do that. And now somebody's showing that it is possible. All the stuff I always thought of is possible, and you can do it. So I started buying equipment, going to classes, and I even went up to Kibbe Academy for TIG welding because I've never TIG welded until then.
Okay.
I got a TIG welder now, got squared away on that.
That's cool.
A lot more beautiful welds than we ever could do before in the old days, you know, so.
And then you said you've also taken like a class on how to do French lights or chop tops or something as well?
Joel Davis has a chop class all over Facebook. You can find him there. And he travels the country, chops a roof for somebody, but opens up that class to everybody around that wants to go learn something. And it's different cars at every location, different steps, different pieces. And the one I went to, we did a 52 Chevy, chopped the top about 4.5 inches, Frenched the headlights. It was just a good experience.
Wow.
Something you don't want to do. 3 days, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday.
Wow.
And it was all day. It was a 12-hour day on Saturday, but
you knocked it out in 3 days.
3 days. There was about 20 people in the class roughly, and that's it. I mean, who wants to chop off the top by yourself? You know, it's hard to. That's intimidating.
Yeah.
So when
very
you do
much.
it with a group and you've done it before, now you can say, well, yeah, I've done that,
Yeah.
and this is how it worked, and there was these little tricks, and
That is awesome. So you've done those, the Kindig class, the Joel Davis chop top class.
that's just this year. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
trying to
wow.
get back into it full throttle, and you always got to learn something new, right? So
Right.
go out there and take these little classes to give you something extra, and it makes a big difference in the long run.
Well, that's awesome. So, and then because of Robert Kibbe, for those of you who don't remember, the muscle car place, Rob and I became good friends, like brothers from another mother, years ago over his Chevelle and getting it ready to drive again. But now he autocrosses it and everything. And if you listen to his show, he tells you all about the Chevelle all the time. But it's awesome. He's still so passionate about that car. Well, that's kind of how all of us got into this. We're passionate about some car at some point in our lives. Your 66 Mustang, mine honestly was a 1974 Toyota Corona, and this 72 Scout. My grandfather bought this brand new. It was his daily driver. I've ridden in it hunting almost every season of my life. The first time I was ever turned loose with the keys to a car, I didn't have a driver's license. It was in this Scout, and they're like, hey, run into town and get us some groceries, some milk or something. Well, town's 14 miles away, and I'm 14 years old without a driver's license in Louisiana. So I drove the Scout to town. So I have a passion for this vehicle. You know, it's like, I don't imagine it'll get driven a lot, but I want it to be able to be driven anytime.
Right.
And I don't want it to rust away the way it was going. So my
Or stay
brother-
in pieces.
or stay in pieces
For 20 years.
for 10 more years while I pretended that I was going to finish it.
Right.
So that was what brought us. It kind of just, I don't know, fate. The Lord brought us together. Whatever you want to say. But John calls me out of the blue, or sent me a text, I guess, out of the blue, and says, "Hey, I found out about this. Would you help me by answering some questions about how you're finding business and how you're marketing yourself and what what can somebody expect to make?" And we went and had lunch and just kind of hit it off to the point where I was like, you know what, I would love for you to be able to do some of these other projects, but I need to be able to say, yeah, this guy has got the skills. So we kind of came up with the idea that I'd pay him to do my Scout, and we'd use that as our test bed, and barring any major malfunctions, catastrophes, we're going to move on together with some other projects that we have. You guys have seen the C10 pickup for Scott, possibly Reagan's 57 Chevy that we did last year, and some others that are in the works that I've got guys lined up in Albuquerque waiting to bring me trucks. Hopefully we can get him some of the fabrication and not just spend his life as a painter. But
That's the part I like too, though. It's all fun. I like making the car look right, you know.
so yeah, that's awesome because I hate sanding.
That is the worst part by far.
The
Sanding.
spraying the paint doesn't bother me at all.
Right? That's
It's the
fun.
sanding.
I love the next morning after you painted a car.
Okay.
And you go and you finish peeling off all the masking tape and everything. Just the smell of a booth
Okay.
after it's sat overnight. I mean, there's Nothing like it.
That is awesome. It's funny because no, I mean everybody has those things that are their memory. Like, so you know I'm a pilot, and most everybody on here knows I'm a pilot. The thing I miss about the way my career started was I started at a small airline, and we had turboprop airplanes which burned jet fuel. It's just the prop is on the outside of a cowling instead of on the inside. That's really the only difference between that and what we think of as a jet engine.
Yeah.
Well, the exhaust is also very close to you when you light off the engine, and that sound in the morning when you're on a still airport, and there's that deep-throated sound and the smell of that exhaust as it first lights off. It's still a thing that I'm like, oh, that's why it's one of those things I love about
why
aviation.
I do this. Huh?
Yeah, cars are a whole different passion for me. Different way. I'm not an artist. I don't have any skill at drawing, or we're in an area where in New Mexico with some beautiful artists that just amazing artistry that I cannot duplicate, cannot pretend to copy, but I can come up with an idea and transfer it to sheet metal and steel.
So I've always looked at that as skill. That's a learned skill. You can train yourself to make metal, do what you want.
Absolutely.
The talent, I would call that talent. Whenever you can draw something, you can draw a car out. That's just raw talent you're either born with or not.
That's the way I
can
feel.
make a car look like whatever you want. I just can't draw it out.
Yeah, I can't either. And I think, so my artistry, if I have any, is in that design of creating the metal to do what I want it to do, right?
Yeah.
The techniques, all that's a skill, like you just described. But the ability to think it through
and
and see what the end product
know
is
what you're going for.
Yeah, I think that is, if we have artistry in us at all, if it's in our blood, that's where it's at. It's
more
in
of the vision than the.
Yeah, exactly. I can't draw. I mean, I went to school for engineering. I had to take art classes. I was absolutely their worst artist, but I took them. I know the techniques. I just don't have the hand-eye that makes it pretty. Right. You want me to draw you a sketch of, or an engineering drawing of something, I can absolutely dimension it and draw the straight lines and use a compass, and I cannot make it pretty.
But straight, definitely
straight lines. I got a ruler, a sharp pencil. So I think it's awesome when you run into other people who have that same passion for making something, taking a vision and making it something. I mean, your daughter and you will do your '66 Mustang, and it'll be a combination of your vision from when you were 14, your vision as her father who doesn't want her in an unsafe vehicle, and a daughter's 16-year-old vision. I mean, there's a lot of visions there,
right.
And it's going to be on you to bring all that together. Well, in my mind, that's art.
Yeah.
Right. That's an artistry to be able to combine that, and everybody is happy with what it is. It's a functional piece of art.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's what I love. I don't like building show cars. I like building cars that people are going to go drive. So every now and then I get somebody who wants a immaculate, pristine paint job that, and you just feel bad because that either they're going to be upset when they drive the car because
every little ding,
scratch is going to really affect them, or the car is never going to get driven. And that's what I really fear, is I don't want to see the car never get driven.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this has, as you guys well know, this has a lot of Raptor liner on it, because if I drive it, it's not going to be on pavement. It'll be a pavement to get to and from, but my goal when I started this was I wanted to be able to drive it over Engineer Pass, which is a high mountain up in the Silverton Mountain area. It does not require a lift kit. It does not require, might require four-wheel drive on a bad day when it's raining. I mean, any truck, two-wheel drive that has any traction will do just fine.
Just a little bit of clearance, but most stock clearances will do it.
A stock Jeep will absolutely drive over it.
Oh, yeah.
This stock would absolutely drive over it. But it is a dirt road. You are going to get gravel chips, and you've got to be willing to accept that, or you're going to be all upset because your car's got chips in it. And I don't want that. I want to be able to park it at Walmart, go in and get me a 6-pack of soda and some chips, and then drive up to Silverton on the paved road, and then hit the dirt road and go up Engineer Pass, which is like 11,000 feet or something. So, I mean, that's why it's kind of a big deal around here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't require anything fancy. It's, I'm not going out rock climbing and all that. So we've covered kind of where we're going. John's got everything but the fenders now, I think, right? Fenders in the top.
I got 4 doors.
4 doors, yeah.
Full tub, I guess you'd call it. Tailgate, yeah.
Tailgate. And I was trying to do all this work myself. You guys have seen a lot of the dents and stuff that we were trying to get, and I finally just gave up. John's a fabricator as much as anybody, and I'm like, you fix those dents. And someone might say a fabricator because he's going to have to cut the dent out of the tailgate. It's terrible. It's horrendous. It's going to have to just cut the sheet metal out, straighten the metal that you can around it, and then make a patch that has all the shape to put it back in there. That's fabricating. I don't care who you are. It's not just a flat piece of steel, and even a flat piece of steel welded into something else won't stay flat.
That's fact.
So it does require some fabrication. There's one of the doors has a little rust in it, and while they've been soda blasted, so they're good clean metal now to work from, he's going to have to make a patch for that. And there are a couple of companies popping some panels
for scouts,
but they're very expensive, mostly because you have to have them shipped in.
Ah.
And we're talking an area that's like 3 inches by 6 inches, or maybe 3 by 8. You know,
Yeah.
It's not worth spending
and it's a pretty
$100.
flat spot, so
Yeah, and that's true.
maybe a
Scout
little
does
curve
have
to
some.
it, but
Scout does have some pretty flat stuff, but overall, pretty easy job here. So, or basic fabrication. I don't know if it's easy, but it's basic fabrication.
Right.
So you're going to paint it white for me.
Yep, all white. You want it shiny white.
Shiny white.
Extra clear so the scratches can be buffed out later. And
3 times. 3 times we can buff it. We're going to put some pinstripes on it. And that's really, it's very
straightforward.
straightforward. Yeah. It does have 4 doors because, as you guys will probably see after this video, I made my own SS doors for it. So you'll see that video coming up. And I've dropped them off on him and went, here, see if they fit.
Or make them fit, one of the two.
Or make them fit, whichever it requires. See if they fit and then make them fit.
I can do that.
So that's it for that. John, tell us, what do you want to do? What's your shop? What's your, go over your website, and then he's starting his own YouTube channel. So I'm going to give you guys contacts for that. We'll put links, and you'll get to see his very first video coming up soon.
Hopefully soon. So
We're going to push it on him, make it soon.
like you mentioned, I just happened to, after I retired, started listening to podcasts. I never had listened to any podcasts. And the themusclecarplace, I happened across that one, and I started listening to one. And some guy started talking, and he said he was from Bloomfield, New Mexico. And I hit stop right away, and I rewound it and said, Bloomfield, no way. And it was you talking with Rob, you said?
Robert?
Yeah. And so I listened to all those episodes with you in them after that, because they were labeled in there, and I was like, well, all right, I guess I need to get a hold of them and see. And then I checked out your YouTube channel. So my original thought was, I was already toying with the idea, start recording stuff, just do little videos for the customers to see the progress on their vehicles.
Sure.
But other people might want to see that too, different processes, or maybe it'll help somebody along the way.
Well, and yeah, we all have different techniques to get to the same finished product.
Right.
I watch plenty of YouTube channel videos just to see a different way of doing something, just because I don't always believe that my way is the best and only way. Certainly not the only, but many times it's not the best. I pick up techniques from other people all the time. And
yeah, there's 100 different ways to skin a cat, they say, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
So I wanted to do the videos for the customers of the car so that they could have something, and then try to keep them updated as to the progress, because these processes take years sometimes, and,
Right.
and people don't realize that. But at least that'll give the vehicle owners an idea of what's going on with their vehicle in a time that they can watch and not be there in the shop with you for 2 years.
Right.
So
Right. Absolutely.
that was the point. And then if they wanted to show somebody, or they could have a record of the vehicle as they sell it or move on, or pass it down.
For those of you who got it, all these hot rods, all these cars have to have insurance.
Yeah.
So whether I'm not plugging any particular company, because I use them all, but Grundy or well, I can't even think of any other names right now. But as you get insurance, if you have video detail of that, it shows them the progress of the vehicle so that they can help underwrite the value.
Really?
And they can, you can do it with pictures, you can do it with video. But all of that helps so that if the car is lost at a later time, or whatever. There's, oh hey, see, this was all done. Here's when the wheels were on the car. Here's the motor inside the car. You know, all that helps establish that value. So
I see, always learning stuff. I had no idea.
yeah, there you go. Another little detail, another reason to keep it up. We're gonna push him to do a full channel, not just customer videos, but videos for all of us to enjoy, so we can see how he's doing it. And
I took videos of those classes that we mentioned that I took. I did some short videos and some pictures in those classes, just trying to document that, you know, I'm an old guy, but I am still continuing the skills and learning what's most proper today's repairs, today's standards of equipment. There's just so much new stuff coming out all the time. You gotta stay on top of it, or at least have an idea of what's out there and how to use it. So,
and whether you would want it in your shop, for sure. It's a great value to go into SEMA. Again, not a plug, just a great reason that a lot of us go to SEMA is to, you know, there's a lot of cool cars there, and I take a lot of video and pictures of cars, but to go see some of those new processes in action. And, you know, like my welders are 10, 15 years old, and they work just fine for me, but there's a lot of stuff out there that might make my life easier if I would jump off and buy that next version, next level, you know. So. And
I'm going to SEMA this year too, just to check it out and try to stay on top of what's there.
I'm planning to be there, so we'll try and hook up maybe while we're there and wander around and tell people how their cars suck. No, we never do that.
I can't imagine. They're there, and I'm still over here. So AllSickKustoms came up with the name, just you know, New Mexico slang. We always say, "Oh, that's all sick."
Okay.
So, AllSickKustoms
with a K.
With customs with a K.com, and that's, I believe, the same name as the YouTube. I already have that set up.
Okay.
Instagram. I just don't. I set everything up preparing for this, but we're kicking off.
That's it.
Quicker than I wanted to. So
I wanted to a lot sooner.
Quicker than I was ready to. Yeah.
So we'll kick this off with this video. I'll put links to that. Hopefully hopefully you'll see his first video. Do you know which one you're going to do first?
I was going to try to do in timeline, maybe the Kindig Academy welding class, the TIG class. I just don't know.
There you go. So maybe a Kindig TIG welding class, and then. But we'll see videos, and then I'm going to come by every now and then, do updates on the Scout. He's also going to try and do some videos on the Scout as he's painting it. So those of you who are really into following this particular vehicle, check both channels regularly, and you should start seeing videos again on this, because it's kind of become a priority now that we met, and I'm not trying to do it 100% by myself. So
perfect.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, all the other YouTube stuff. We'll see you again next time on Allisoncustoms Customs Project Car TV.
Thank you. Don't forget to check out allsick.com, YouTube, whatever.
Come on now, all the channels.
All the channels.